Hello, I'm Karen. Welcome. Yesterday, there was a trial and included with the mother of a boy who shot 4 students in 2021. Let me read this to you. I want to talk about it and what my thoughts are about this. This is a new area that we're going into, determining who's responsible for their child who commits a serious crime such as shooting people and killing them. Michigan school shooter's mom was found guilty of manslaughter. Jennifer Crumbley, mother of Michigan school shooter Ethan Crumbley, was found guilty of 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter in connection with the November 2021 Oxford High School shooting, Jeff, in 2021. It's about 3 years ago. And the mother was tried and convicted of involuntary manslaughter. I have some thoughts about this for everyone. Crumbley, the mother, was found guilty of 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter in connection with the shooting, 1 for each victim. I want to tell you the names of the victims. I hope that's okay with their family. But the names were Madison Baldwin, 17, Tate Meir, 16, Justin Schilling, 17, and Hannah St. Juliana, 14. They were all good kids. They were active in school. They probably didn't even cause any problems. Ethan had difficulties with his thoughts. There were multiple signs that he was having problems with his thinking. I don't want to call it voices, but I call it noise. Because I get the same thing. But I have the ability to go and get help. Because I didn't want to live like that. I didn't want to hurt myself or anyone else. Maybe we should look at Ethan to be able to do that. He asked his family for help. He didn't know what to do. But even though you're in a state of mind of confusion, you should still be aware to take him himself to the hospital where they could have helped him. And I want to talk about the mother. Involuntary manslaughter. Each count can have the mother be in jail up to 15 years. For each count. There are 4 counts. So you're talking 60 years in prison, maximum. There was a crime done. She did wrong. The school system, the counselor failed them. They should have called in a paramedic. And this is what I want done. They should have known another. If you have a crisis, a medical crisis, that in which this incident was, a medical crisis. He wasn't going against the wall prior to the shooting. It was a medical crisis. Once he took away the lives, that became a crime. I think there are a lot of signs and no one actually put it together and realized the severity of the problem. He was asking for help. He didn't know what to do. Now let me explain something. When we tried this woman, she is responsible to some extent because he is under 18 years old, under the care of his parents. He was asking for help. The school should have helped him. And they missed out on the signs. The mother and the father do not know much about psychological issues, mental thinking, whether or not the person is thinking clearly. He was doing very negative pictures, drawings of negative scenes, bad scenes. Cried for help. When a student is at that level of being, at that way of being, thinking not clearly, should get help. In today's world, moms and dads, if you call the police, ask for medical people. The paramedics should be responsible for this care, not the police, because the man did not commit a crime at the moment. Ask for a paramedic to come in. It's a medical emergency. He didn't commit a crime yet. Train the paramedics to learn how to talk to people who can't think clearly for themselves, and be aware of the signs and symptoms of a person having difficulty with reality and fallacy within their mind. Many people, parents probably don't want to turn their children into the law, meaning police officers. I don't want to send my son to prison, to jail, for a crime he didn't commit just yet. So I want to do this. With paramedics, they go to these scenes with the police. If you can't control your child and there's something wrong, one of the things you did wrong was buy him a gun. So there's lack of knowledge, not intention of having their son kill anyone. They didn't have that knowledge. They weren't aware of the consequences of buying a gun for their son. Maybe they thought it was funny. Maybe not. They didn't know the seriousness of the situation. So this crime, this verdict of manslaughter, is to set an example for all other parents to be alert and pay attention when a child, high school student, is not thinking clearly. Bring him to the hospital. If he refuses, he doesn't want to go, then you may have to call a paramedic. You don't necessarily have to have the police there. Call up the ambulance company, ask for a medic, or a fire department, ask for a medic to come out and assess your son. We're all afraid of calling the police on our child. We want to protect our child. And with the bad words that demonstrate amongst the police officers, police officers killing people, arresting them, tasing them. That's what we're afraid of, and we don't want our child to be treated that way. So, police officers, you could be there as protectors. But let the paramedic talk to the person down and then take them in an ambulance under protective custody to the hospital. And that's the best thing to do. Parents, don't be afraid to give your child, high school child, to take them to the hospital. It's okay. Don't feel embarrassed that your child is not thinking clearly. Recognize the signs. Maybe we need to put a letter in the New York Times and all the papers, a letter stating signs and symptoms of someone having a mental breakdown, a mental incorrect thinking, a mental condition. especially when they're asking for help. With this woman, because it was a first time occurrence and brought to the attention of all other people around the country, I do believe that the student should have gone to the hospital. I don't think they should be so concerned about the employer having them lose their job if they don't go into work. There are medical crises that you need to tend to, and you may have to miss work, but the priority is the care of your child. So police officers, they're afraid that you might tase them, or shoot them, or take them down aggressively and put handcuffs on them. These people have problems and they're asking for help. Let the paramedic talk to the high school student and then put him in the ambulance and take him to the hospital. Not to prison, not to jail, but to the hospital. Parents should keep guns away from all teenagers. This is in Michigan. They say they do go hunting and they use the gun. And maybe the child wanted to know how to use a gun to go hunting. Do you go to hunting with a pistol? So that's my recommendation. I don't want to see this woman to go to jail for the rest of her life. That's cruel. I think she should go like 6 years and released on bail, and released to have police officers watch over them and see what they're doing and how they're doing. That's a parole officer I'm talking about. So there was a crime done, but they'll make it really, really hard and bad for the parents too much. They were negligent. They should have known better. Or how much were they ever taught or shown or enlightened to the signs and symptoms of mental crisis. Let the paramedic be in the lead of the scene of a person who is having a mental crisis. Get them help. Don't tase them. Don't shoot them. They want your help. Be there for the people who have a mental crisis. Don't mistreat them. Don't mistreat them. When you have voices in your head, noises in your head, it's hard to push them away. Because they just stay and it's relentless until you do what they tell you to do. And then you shoot a person. He's not in the right mind. That should never happen. Go easy on the mother, and let us all learn from this. We, until that child is 18 years old, we are responsible for them. Family members, request a paramedic at the scene. They'll teach the paramedic when they're going to school, let them stay a day or maybe 2 days in a psychiatric ward, watching different behaviors, recognizing when a person is in distress, and what kind of care they get. Give them the training. This area of mental illness has to come forward, be known, recognized. Don't keep it quiet. People are here to help each other. You have to recognize it, and when you see it, then ask for help. You're doing your own self a favor, and most importantly, you are helping your child, adult child. It's a serious situation. You can't allow this to happen again. Parents, be more responsible. Read about mental health concerns, especially in children in high school. Maybe there's more prevention rather than after the effect taking action. Go easy on the mother. She didn't know. She didn't know any better. And this is a lesson learned by all. Thank you.